Sing muse of that resourceful man who wandered far and wide after he had sacked the secret citadel of Troy. Many were the men whose cities he saw and whose ways he learned. Hey, and many of the woes he suffered in his hearts upon the seas, sovereign to preserve his life and bring his companions home. But though he desired it saw, his companions he saved not. Hello and welcome back to the Doctor Who Marathon. I'm your host McEdam, and today we're going to be talking about A Thing of Guilt, written by Phil Margles. I think that's how you pronounce his last name anyway. This is the second story in the Infernal Devices box set, the second box set featuring John Hurt as the war incarnation of the Time Lord who used to be known as the Doctor. But for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to call him the Doctor in this story. Like with all of these stories, they deal with the Doctor trying to get a particular dangerous device which could be used to create mass havoc throughout the Time War. So this one's no exception. It also kind of follows up from the cliffhanger of Legion of the Lost, although you could listen to this on its own and it bears no resemblance. It's completely its own thing, and I kind of like it, prefer it, these stories being their own thing. As the quotation in the opening of this video suggests, this story is kind of a play on the traditions of the Trojan horse story from the Secret Citadel of Troy, the story of how Troy fell, similar to how the Doctor in his first incarnation has tackled the fall of Troy in The Mythmakers, a story which is Vicky's last story. And so, nice little callback, I guess. They even do mention at one point that the Doctor had gone to Troy at one point. So, it's a nice little callback to that. And all these nice little references to the first Doctor era really help emphasise that this is a much more grandiose story. Although, the fact that it's referencing a non-Dalek story kind of weakens it and makes the universe feel a little bit smaller than it should do. But this is the Time War, you know, it's about reality collapsing on itself. So I guess it's understandably deviating from that particular mode of interest. So let's get on to the actual cover, shall we? Like I've mentioned, this is part of the Infernal Devices box set, which I've stated in the Legion of the Lost. All of these covers, in my opinion, are some of the best that Tom Webster has done, with this one having a very blue, almost like a deep ocean feel. Reminds me a lot of like submarine fiction, which is always usually it's about a boat going over enemy lines, and this is like that kind of story, emphasizing its wartime feel. You got this really cool cover with this science division Dalek, which is a bronze Dalek, but it's got the blue bumps and a blue headset. I don't think it's coming off very well on the screen, but it looks really cool. You've also got this worm creature from this asteroid, and we've got a Dalek eye there, and the Doctor in the same hexagon-like symbol. Really nice work. And like always with these these Big Finish CD covers, I print my own DVD covers, and again it's one of those that I put together, and it's one I'm really proud of because look at the way that John Hurt's head pokes out from there. It looks like this could easily be from an actual DVD cover, really, and it fits so well how his head kind of angles itself, so it's just under the word A, but it's like poking out, so it's like it's more on that side. So really nicely done by me. Wow, that sounds really egotistical. I just realised it doesn't have the worm. I just realised that. Ha! That's pretty bizarre. Here's the spine, if anyone is interested. Oh, look at that. It's a thing of guilt. What does that even mean, a thing of guilt? And here is the back of it, if anyone's interested. So, we've talked about the issues of it. So let's get into the narrative of this adventure. So the story starts continuing on from the cliffhanger of the previous story, with the Doctor being sentenced to prison for his crimes against the Time Lords in that story. However, that's not a big part of this story. Despite the Doctor going basically on trial, Alistria has basically postponed the trial so that the Doctor, whilst they're bringing time to get into Gallifrey so we can go on this trial, he is being basically put on a secret mission to time to redeem himself, as Alistria and her small group of people that were seen in the previous story, they have discovered a secret Dalek base on an asteroid, and they found a particular weapon, one of the great weapons which has mysterious properties, and they don't even know what it does. When they show the Doctor after they wrapped it, it seems like a small device, something that you can hold in one hand, but it doesn't seem to do anything. And when the Doctor notices it, doesn't notice what the hell it does, everybody gets angry and they start turning on each other as things start heating up, and the Doctor's like, "This is ridiculous. You want me to go in the water just to get this little device?" And Alistria comes up with this plan that she's going to basically set this a particular ship up to take the Dalek firing squad and basically lead them away, as the Doctor, Alistria and her crew can get onto this asteroid and figure out what the secret Daleks are planning and how they intend to use this device. Now, plot-wise, there's not a lot to talk about here. There's very little in detail. In fact, I've already described half of the adventure, essentially, with only a real twist on what the actual asteroid project is in turn, that is part of the plot. There's a great little moment in which Alistria is talking to one of her spies, essentially, and she discovered that the secret Dalek project is so well secret that even the Emperor of the Daleks doesn't know about this, implying that there are two Dalek factions now, like previously. One thing I did kind of found a bit complexing is that the Time Lords find it a very, very hard possibility that there could be two Dalek factions, despite, from an audience point of view, we have seen multiple Dalek factions. The Davroses, Imperial Daleks, the Renegade Daleks, the Good Daleks from Evil of the Daleks. There's loads of Dalek factions. This shouldn't be a new concept to them. But I understand it's more of a nitpick, and you can easily headcanon in that Time Lords were just not aware of these particular history. They only really cared about the origins of the Daleks and more recent history of the Daleks that put them into their bronze Time War casing. Something which the Doctor, other history which the Doctor has seen and tackled, and by far then the audience knows. One thing I really like about this story is that throughout the both box sets, I've had a criticism with this era. It's not so bad that it becomes distracting, but it does happen often enough that it's you can see that the writers are kind of struggling. And that is how they dealt with the name of the Doctor. Usually, we get this great dramatic tension between the Doctor and characters mentioning his name, and we get this whole philosophy. But the majority of the time, somebody will say doctor, and John Hurt will reply with, "That's not my name! Stop calling me that!" Which obviously is understandable. He doesn't believe that he's deserving of the doctor. And the stories do a great job at dealing on why he's given up the name of the doctor, how his emotions feel about it. But we always get the really silly scene in which somebody calls him the doctor and he angrily basically like debates against them in that particular way. Here, however, as heard in the previous story, right at the end as the cliffhanger, the Doctor has been given the title Prisoner 101, and this allows for this story to just cut that rubbish out and have Alistria and all the men refer to the Doctor as Prisoner 101, something he doesn't actually object to. He doesn't even go, "Stop calling me that." He doesn't even go, "That's a bit like inhumane." It's something that he just accepts, which is kind of depressing. In his mind, he kind of deserves to be a prisoner against with these crime wars. In fact, he seems like a little bit of him wants to be a prisoner, which is a really effective way. The ideas of the name of the Doctor are still present. In fact, we get a great scene in which one of the soldiers who has actually grown up with stories of the Doctor, basically a fanboy, but it's not like played up to stereotypes. It's just a soldier that has heard stories of the Doctor, goes up to Alistria and is like, "Is that him? Is that the guy? Is that the Doctor?" And she's like, he doesn't call himself that anymore. He's given up the title, but yes, that was the Doctor. And this character is like, "I'm sorry, I had to ask." I've heard stories about him and how he's supposed to be this amazing traveller that people can follow, and he was a great hero, a great traveller, a wanderer who opened the minds to many people about the advantages of just wandering around and seeing the universe. And Alistria is like, "Yes, but now, just like everybody, he's a soldier who just has to fight in this war." She asks the Doctor, or in this case, Prisoner 101, to go on this mission because of his adventures, of his experience. It's something, Alistria is a very smart character. She knows the Doctor is well experienced, well versed in the universe, and so she's kind of taken him as an expert on things which the Time Lords aren't familiar with, something which she expects them to meet. So the Doctor gets sent to this asteroid with a small handful of characters, and we get a great scene in which on this asteroid there's this giant worm thing, which is the thing on the cover. I can't remember what he calls it. An Eltrem worm or something like that. And it actually kills one of the soldiers. And we get this really, really greatly intense moment where the soldiers, basically the story implies this character is a very new soldier. He was originally like a paper pusher, but he was basically dragged into fighting in this war. And so the Time Lords escape with that soldier dying, and the Doctor's like, "You idiot, we should have gone back for him, we should have saved his life. He was not a soldier." And Alistria's like, "In this time war, everyone must be a soldier." And the Doctor's like, "Not everybody knows how to be a soldier." When the character asks, it's like, "Would we rather you die instead?" The Doctor's like, "Yes." He wants to punish himself. This is a Doctor basically suffering from depression, from taking part in this event. He wants to die. He wants to go out in an act of glory just so he can get peace from this existence, something which was dealt with in Legion of the Lost as well. This is a Doctor who is has travelled for so long, so far, seen so much evil in the universe, that not only does he know he can't give up, he has to keep going, he has to keep fighting, but he's also incredibly sick of it and just wants it to end. He just wants some peace in his life. That is John Hurt's Doctor. That is, in my head, the 9th Doctor. This is the War Doctor, which is in reality the 9th incarnation of the Doctor. And the character even points out, it's like, you might not call yourself the Doctor anymore, but you're still him inside. You're still got this craving, this soul inside of you, which really impacts the Doctor's character and just really gets to him. And instead of being like, okay, maybe I am the Doctor still, so let's stop and actually act like good, decent people for once. No, the Doctor is like, yes, I used to be the Doctor, but now that was behind me, so we'll have to just carry on, pretend that his life, the soldier who just died, his life didn't really matter. So they explore the caves before the Doctor realises that that the Doctor is secretly, he realises something about these tunnels. They weren't naturally made, and so he tries to get these soldiers together and warn them that these caves are actually created by this worm creature. They've stumbled onto its home, meaning that there are probably thousands upon thousands of them. There's this whole thing as well about how they've taken a ship and they're going to take the ship to the asteroid. This is the previous thing, and this is where the Doctor mentions the Trojan horse and his involvement in that particular story. So that's some very nice little callback there. All the while, we also get cutaway scenes to the chase with the rest of the Time Lords being a distraction for Illustria and stuff like that. And we get really great scenes in which these two likeable characters who, in reality, are just normal, everyday people, but were caught up in this war. And slowly throughout this adventure, they realised that they're basically on a suicide mission. Illustria put them in a situation where most likely they're going to die. The Daleks are going to catch up to them at one point. And they are going to die. She sacrificed them on the vain hopes that it will buy them time to find out this secret project that the Time Lords want to find out on this asteroid. And so the Daleks science division are chasing them, and at the end of this particular adventure, they actually sneak on board and take the ship from the inside before asking everybody what they know about the asteroid. And the Time Lords like, that's strange, why don't they just kill us? Why don't they just destroy us? Until they realise that this secret is so secret even from other Daleks that they didn't want any information. They want to find out as many people found out as possible in fear that someone will take advantage of their asteroid, the secrets on this base. And after killing everybody on board, they get interrupted by another aspect of Daleks, another division of Daleks, who ask them to basically state that, what the hell are you doing on that asteroid? What is happening? And the Dalek of the scientific division refuses. He does not give them information, to which then a small little war comes out between the two Dalek factions. Now, the Doctor finds the secret science base, the operation. And before he goes in, he realises that what that device that they found by the Daleks actually is a device which is just like themselves, just like the whole theming of this story, is a Trojan horse. It's a device which makes people who were once allies fight over each other. It makes them more angry and aggressive. It makes them want to basically argue with each other. And essentially, the Daleks found this device, and so two Dalek factions were born as they found something they disagreed with and made this a battle and fought against each other. So this story has a theme, and it's all about self-conflicts in wars. It's about Trojan horses as well. It's about how weak you make yourselves as a group, as an individuals, as a group during a war, during a strategy that you've given yourself all these weapons of mass destruction and stuff, and now when you don't trust someone and a Trojan horse can easily get in, you've basically set yourself up for a mass disaster. And so they go inside this laboratory, and what they find surprises even the Doctor. They find mutated Daleks in casings. One of them, Dalek 1, is just a normal Dalek. Dalek 2 seems to be this deformed, but it's got slight limbs. Dalek 3 and until they discover Khalid 006, a much more human aligned to the Dalek, much more a Khalid than Dalek. It's sort of a mixture of the two. The Doctor realizes what has happened. These are Daleks that are trying to make themselves Khalids again. These are Daleks who, because of this device, has turned themselves, who want to go back into being Khalids to their purity complex means that in their heads being pure is to get away with all the mutations and become Khalids again. And they actually free Khalid 006, who understands pain and emotions that no Dalek could. It's more in line with a human than anything else. And the Doctor actually feels huge amount of sympathy for that. You know, it doesn't like just want to exterminate everything. It loves, it's sad, it's kindness, it's compassionate, it's all these things. That's what the Daleks were hiding. The Daleks, this scientific division, had found this device, which enhanced their disagreement with the main Dalek faction, and so they became hell-bent on reversing the process. And so a war breaks out between them all, and some of the Daleks actually come back to this asteroid to basically destroy it. Doctor and all these characters escape, freeing themselves from the asteroid. One of the end scenes is actually, I think the Doctor actually escapes from his trial, his situation, so he's back wandering throughout the universe again. And the end scene is a Dalek promising that, at least one Dalek had survived and promised that the only way to fix the Daleks' issue, to make them more killing machines, is by going back and becoming Khalids again. For those of you who haven't realised, this is supposed to be a semi-prequel, in a sense, or at least the ideas of it, to The Daleks Take Manhattan, a story in which the cult of Skaro tried to make themselves more human so they can adapt and survive. Maybe it's implying that one of these scientific division Daleks became Dalek Sek, is it? The Black Dalek in that story. I can't remember his name. And these were Daleks that this is kind of the Daleks that became the cult of Skaro. Would be very interesting, and does actually line up with the rest of the story. So that's a thing of guilt. Overall, it is continuing the legacy of just how great these box sets are, and really shows, and in my opinion, in terms of showing the Doctor of who he is, this war incarnation, this is a great way to jump in point. The only problem with that is it's part of a box set, which also has a great way of opening with the Legion of the Lost. So you've got two great stories back to back. Doesn't miss a beat. And the fact that they've started calling the Doctor Prisoner 101 means that the stories stop having the little, it's a very little issue I had with the previous stories, but it was still a little issue of the whole Doctor reacting the same way constantly when somebody refers to him as the Doctor, but still has the themes and the ideas of what the name of the Doctor represents to him as a character, and also as well just this whole plot of the whole Trojan horse ideologies and the concepts that it deals with is very interesting and very well written and well experienced. So that's A Thing of Guilt, highly recommended. So we've tackled two great stories in this box set, but does it continue to the last adventure? Does it live up to the rest of the two stories in the box set, or will the last story be a flub? So join me next time for The Never When, and I'll see you next time on the Doctor Who Marathon to find out. Ta-da!